Call our public hearing to order at this time. Our first item of business tonight is a public hearing. It is a public hearing for ordinance number 2021-11, a variance request. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance number 2021-11, R2 zoning variance, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and it is hereby ordained by authority thereof. Section 1, the following property owned by Rami Azus and known as map 0013A026 3063 Battlefield Parkway, variance request to change rear building setback from 25 feet to 10 feet to add extension to the rear of the building. Is there anyone here that would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of this variance? Mayor, it doesn't appear that anyone's here to speak in favor or in opposition of the variance. Well, all right, come on. If you go, wait a minute, go to the podium there, and there's a pen and a clipboard. Please write your name on it, and when you address the council, please state your full name.
My name's Kenneth Rogers. I'm with Wineset Hill Constructors. We're assisting Mr. Azus with just the planning portion and everything of the possible addition to the back of his building. He doesn't want to move the business. He wants to keep it here in Fort O. He's out of space. He wants to add additional rooms for his pediatric business. In order to do that, we have to get that increased setback. We won't go off on the sides. It'll just be an increase on the back, and that would be the extent of it to do that. So if he's able to do that, then he can keep it right there at that same location and serve the clients that he's got and had for quite a while.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak either in favor of or in opposition of this variance request? Go ahead.
My name Rami Azus. I'm just going to say in the back, really, our neighbor has only RV parking. So it's really not, it's not a building, it's not residential, it's not any factory. So really, actually, there is a big space between, even if we extend it, behind us there is really only RV. So I think really it's very safe in the back to do it. The other choice was for me to move it to down, will be not in Fort O, but I like the location and we're growing really rapidly in it, and I think because we're doing a good job. But I prefer to stay and really very safe in the back in a way. There's no neighbors, nothing behind us except RV and parking. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else either like to speak in favor of or opposition of the variance request? Mayor, now it appears like there's no one to speak any further.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. At this time, we will call our regularly scheduled council meeting to order. If you would, please, Mr. Stoltz, call the roll.
Mayor Earl Gray.
Here.
Craig Crawford, Councilman.
Here.
Paula Stenick, Council Lady.
Here.
Derek Rogers, Councilman.
Here.
Jim Childs, Councilman.
Here.
Rhonda James, Council Lady.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. We do have a quorum for tonight's meeting. We have a guest with us tonight that's from out of town. If you would, Mr. Rogers, I'm going to ask you to please do the invocation for us. And Mr. Childs, please lead us in the pledge.
Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this town of Fort Oglethorpe, the city, and we thank you, Lord, for those who have been chosen to serve, and we're glad, Lord, that they want to pause here and acknowledge your existence and the need for your wisdom and knowledge. And so I pray that you would bless them, bless each council member, the mayor, and city manager and everyone involved here. I pray you just bless them with your wisdom and your knowledge, and may they make good decisions, right decisions, Lord. May you be honored and glorified and lifted up in all that's done here tonight. Well, thank you for it. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time we'll set the agenda for tonight's meeting. Ms. Hune, is there any additions or deletions that we need to make to the agenda?
Just one, Mr. Mayor. David Blevins has asked that he be removed from tonight's agenda under the appearances section.
All righty. Anything else?
No, sir.
Mr. Blevins will be removed under appearances. I have a motion to set the agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Childs, second by Mr. Rogers. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Agenda is set. Next item on the agenda is the minutes from our previous council meeting, which was held on June the 28th. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. James, second by Mr. Childs. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda is appearances. Ms. Levice.
I have dangerous sinkholes in my backyard, but I'm not alone in my struggles in Sunset Cove. I cannot begin to tell you in 5 minutes the problems, including building code violations, that I've been made aware of by other residents who complain to no avail. It's hard to come up with someone who has not had something negative to say about the Hunts when it comes to the development of this community. I have asked how this situation could continue since there is a system in place whereby a city official has to sign off that these units are built according to plans and deemed safe to occupy. So why are the builders not being held accountable? The answer given to me time and time again was that Thad and Justin Hunt are very connected in the city of Fort Oglethorpe and Catoosa County at large, and that whenever a resident complains, they are threatened with lawsuits in a no-win situation, as the Hunts have friends in high places, and that this would result in a rise of the HOA dues on residents who are mostly on fixed incomes. Wow. It is unconscionable that homeowners are intimidated into thinking they have no recourse and no voice because of the questionable ethics and inappropriate relationships between city officials and these developers. The depth of this problem was made clear when trying to resolve my sinkhole issue, including that it took a Freedom of Information request to obtain a copy of the site plans for Sunset Cove Estates, a community that is currently in development. When obtained, the plans showed that the builders had not followed them, but still got certificates of occupancy. The justification for this has been that the unit I live in was built 16 years ago, so the city doesn't know what took place. What? That's not a valid excuse. The Planning Commission should know everything about a development in their city, especially when it is still an active development. I complained to numerous officials who came out to see the problem. The result was that Justin Hunt, who I have since found out was appointed by this body to the Planning Commission, came to my home and called my husband and myself, and I quote, trouble-making pricks, and threatened to whip his ass all day long when my 75-year-old husband took exception. I understand from Ms. Hume that he was held to account for it, but he has never apologized for threatening my husband or myself. And I'm not sure if he was acting in an official capacity as a Planning Commission person when he came to my home, but shame on this city if he was. The sinkholes are a result of an old collapsed drainage pipe system that was buried. The old system and its cover-up were not part of the approved developmental plans, and its deterioration has prevented the appropriate stormwater runoff flow, which is supposed to go behind the houses to the end of the street, at which point it's supposed to pass through a drainage pipe and into a retention pond located on that property. The builder's idea of a fix was to make a hole in the side of the existing drain system to divert the stormwater runoff onto county property on the other side of the fence. There are several problems with that. Number one, it is not what the plan submitted to this city called for, and it has serious environmental implications. Number two, it's not only a bad choice, but it's not stopping the erosion. Number three, the developers dumped roofing materials and such into the resulting sinkholes. When I questioned that practice, I was told by the builder that it was better to ask forgiveness than permission. Forgiveness, really? Forgiveness should never be a viable alternative to official permissions, which are provided to ensure the integrity of a community's development to its citizens. Also, termite-infested decaying garden materials that were removed from on top of what should have been the drainage field were dumped behind the fence by the builders to mix with the stagnant water that's being diverted there. Fort Oglethorpe was aware of the deviation from the plans that were submitted to the city, and yet gave permits to the builders to sell homes there anyway. Without abatement, the erosion will continue and is likely to impact the integrity of the slab-built home foundations in this community, devastating their value to anyone who has purchased there. When I invested in my property, I had a reasonable implied expectation that the development was built according to approved plans and that the taxes I paid went for the enforcement of codes and zoning ordinations which would protect the value of my investment, not to mention my physical safety. I came here last month to ask your help in making the city of Fort Oglethorpe earn my tax money that they received, but which came with certain responsibilities. I was informed that the city determined that this development is private property and that I would have to seek a remedy from the builders. I respectfully disagree and once again ask for your help in protecting myself and anyone else who invests in the city of Fort Oglethorpe from illegal building practices that are condoned and or ignored by this city, which have real consequences to your tax-paying residents.
Thank you, Ms. Levice. Situation was looked into, and unfortunately what you have here is a civil matter. It is not a city matter.
Respectfully, sir, it became the city of Fort Oglethorpe's
Yes, ma'am. I
responsibility.
don't think I interrupted you while you were speaking, and I would appreciate it if you don't interrupt me. But you're giving the impression that we did not look into it. We have looked into it. And Mr. Stoltz, if you would, just for the record, would you read the response, please?
Well, it appears like that the citizen is basing some claim that the city's responsible just because we approved the project. And the fact of the matter is Georgia law is really very clear. City of Atlanta versus Keebler, which provides the approval of construction project, basically cannot impose a liability on the city. And it's clear case law. I'm sorry.
Now, may I? But what I'm saying is, yes, when the process is somebody submits the plans to the city, the developer, and then the city makes sure that they built according to the plans that they submitted and gives a certificate of occupancy. At that point, you become responsible because you're saying, yes, he built this according to plans, and he did not. He covered up an old drainage system, which is causing erosion. And it's like, at that point, and what I've asked for is for you to go back and what needs to happen is they need to dig down, break up this pipe, because it's gonna continue to happen, and then fill appropriately. You will not make him do that. He didn't follow his plans, and you're not saying, go back and make it right. You're letting him continue to develop when he didn't even follow the plans for the first part of the development.
Well, the city has no control over the maintenance of this pipe that you allege. It has no control over, and we don't own it. We don't have an easement. So basically, it's going to be you and Mr. Hunt.
But I'm not asking for maintenance. I'm asking for the fact that he did not follow his plans. Nowhere on the plans does that pipe appear.
Well, whether it does or it doesn't, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, ma'am, we don't have any right as a city to go on private property.
But
Period.
I called you there, and I can't tell you how many people have come out and looked at the situation, including
We
Justin
have
Hunt, who's
no,
on planning.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. We have no authority to go out and work on a private property.
No, but could you tell him, you didn't follow your plans, make this right? Because he's continuing to develop.
Is there some engineer somewhere, is there someone that can come to the council and say, look, this is what was planned, this is what exists, this is wrong?
Okay, if that's what you need, okay. Your guy came out and told me that that was the problem there.
Who is your guy?
The gentleman that came out there 2 weeks ago.
Do you have a
said he
name?
was the zoning, Miss Hughes sent him, the zoning guy. He said he was the zoning person here, that he was new on the job, but that was his title.
Okay, zoning
And
guy.
he told me that you can see where it's caving in, and he said this will continue to erode until this happens. And he told me what needed to happen.
And did you tell Mr. Hunt that?
He doesn't respond.
Ma'am,
Okay, yes.
the city council, you did or you didn't? Which is
I
it?
sent him a letter he's known for 4 years. that
My,
this is
well,
going on.
did
He
you
proved
tell
me wrong.
Mr. Hunt that the zoning man came out 2 weeks ago?
No.
Yes
He
or no?
told me that he-
Yes or no?
No, the
Okay.
zoning person told me he's
Now-
in constant contact with the Hunts. He
Why-
told me he would look into it.
Why
He
don't
told me.
you contact Mr. Hunt and tell him what this alleged zoning fella did?
What he said.
Yes.
Okay. No, but
That way
he
this-
didn't tell me I needed to. He told me he was going to contact Mr. Hunt.
That way the
Because he said
city
he was the one.
council is not involved in a private matter.
All right, let's move on. Next item on the agenda is ordinances. Under ordinances, ordinance number 2021-11, a variance request. This is the third and final reading. Mr. Stokes.
Ordinance number 2021-11, R2 zoning variance, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and it is hereby ordained by authority thereof. Section 1, that the following property owned by Ramey Azus and known as MAP 0013A0263063 Battlefield Parkway, variance request to change rear building setback from 25 feet to 10 feet to add extension on rear of building. Said property is particularly described in Exhibit A attached to this ordinance. Section 2, if any part of this ordinance shall be held to be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair other parts of this ordinance unless it clearly appears such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part held to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 3, that this ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by mayor and council. First reading, 14th of June, 2021. Second reading, 28th day of June, 2021. Third reading, 12th day of July, 2021. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. I have a motion to approve.
Motion?
So moved, sir.
Motion by Mr. Childs, second by Ms. Stinnett. Is there any discussion? Ms. James?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Ms. Stinnett?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda is new business. Item number 1 under new business, intergovernmental agreement between the Georgia Department of Transportation and the City of Fort Oglethorpe for roundabout and lighting support. Mr. Stokes.
Mayor, if you and the council will remember, this was originally brought to y'all back a number of months ago, whereby I had an objection to the proposed agreement because it was not an intergovernmental agreement, and state law restricts our abilities to enter into long-term agreements that are not intergovernmental agreements. This agreement is basically proposed by the Georgia Department of Transportation for 146 or Cloud Springs Road, where they're desiring to put in 2 roundabouts. They would like the city's agreement and support to do the lighting for the roundabouts. They expect that there will be a cost associated with this support when the roundabouts are built, and the lighting, which is approximately $120 a month. But also there is a possibility that if electronic repairs are done, then they may run upwards to $1,000, and if we have to replace the pole, possibly $8,000. Jeff, can I ask you a question that I don't know?
Yes.
With respect to other poles and lighting that are not involved in roundabouts and that type of thing, do they become our responsibility after they're built?
For what we have existing here on Battlefield Parkway on state right-of-ways is always the DOT's. They keep the signal light systems and they maintain them and all. The only one I would be aware is once we take over and accept the 3 signal intersections here on Lafette Road, because that is a city street, then we would maintain them. But in the past, which we never have had a lighted intersection like this, but that would be a concern I would have with them, because we would have that. And I know talking to Jeremy with another intersection, a roundabout in the county on the state right of way, that was one thing they was wanting the county to do, to accept that. So if a car hits it and wasn't insured, then it would probably be on the city's dollar.
Just as it will be here on
Yes.
On 27?
Yes, sir.
So this is not anything unusual now from DOT, is that right?
Well, from on state right away, from what we have, we don't have to maintain. If somebody hit one of the poles that holds one of the signal lights up, then DOT would totally maintain it. We just pay the utility bills on those. This will be a first one I've known that we've ever had to actually maintain it and do the maintenance and bulbs and things like that.
So the new roundabout the county's doing on 41 Highway, y'all weren't presented with an agreement like this?
Yes, and far as I know, I don't think they've ever signed the agreement to that because of the having to own it, maintain it, and pay for it. Like if a pole and pay for somebody to come fix the lights, because I'm not sure what size these poles are, how tall they are, even if our bucket truck would go up high enough to even change bulbs or not on it. It's something that might have to be contracted out.
I just didn't know
Yes.
one way or the other. So they're asking us to enter into this agreement. Jeff's giving you the
Good.
information. I have no
Yes.
recommendation one way or the other.
Robbie, could it be tabled to the next meeting, and then I can look and see more in depth of where that one is on 41 and what's happening on it?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
What's the risk, Robbie, that that
Just,
we won't get the roundabout?
well,
That's not
They
happening
didn't.
until 2028, I think, is the proposed.
Yeah, I mean, this
construction
thing's like
dates.
8 or 9 years down the road anyway, and as written right here, it's a little vague.
Yeah.
so it basically is, it's kind of up to y'all. But we can table it and Jeff can do a little more
And I can al-
research.
And
I can also
hopefully if
check
we
with
reject
the-
it enough, they put a red light in there instead of that roundabout. What
I
needs
can
to be
also
there
check
anyway.
with Whitfield County or City of Dalton. They have some of the lights out around the interstate and see what they do on theirs.
All right. Thank you, Jeff.
So your recommendation is tabled?
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to table item number 1 under new business, which is an intergovernmental agreement between Georgia Department of Transportation and the City of Fort Oglethorpe for roundabout and lighting support.
So moved, sir.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Stenick, second by Mr. Crawford. Is there any discussion? This item, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. This item will be tabled until our next regularly scheduled council meeting. Item number 2, under new business, proposed approval of alcohol license at 2403 Cloud Springs Road. Mr. Stokes.
Mayor, this is an application by Preet Kaur with respect to 2403 Cloud Springs Road, Rossville, Georgia. The chief of police has signed off on it. All of the codes enforcement people office has signed off on it, and they are recommending approval.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. I have a motion to approve.
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Childs, second by Mr. Crawford. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 3, under new business. Proposed approval to procure and install City Hall, Police Department, Municipal Court, Department of Family and Children Services signs. Mr. Quarles.
Mr. Mayor, Council. The City of Fort Oglethorpe Municipal Complex signage is outdated and in need of replacement. The Building Planning and Zoning Department solicited quotes from 3 vendors. Victory Signs submitted the only quote received in the amount of $17,916. Examples of the new and existing signs are attached to this memorandum. If approved, the new signs will be installed in front of the City Hall Municipal Complex, the Police Department, the Municipal Court, and the Department of Family and Children Services. Installation of the signs is included in this cost. Installation is expected to take approximately 90 days once the items are ordered and received. This project timeline is exclusive of weather delays or delays caused by unforeseen conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Quarles. I have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Was that a motion by Mr. Rogers?
Yeah,
and
motion.
a real weak one by Ms. James?
I
then?
think so.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 4, under new business. Proposed approval to execute memorandum of understanding between the City of Fort Oglethorpe and 4 Points Incorporated. Chief Sewell.
Mr. Mayor, Council, good evening. 4 Points Incorporated provides families experiencing crisis with services and support in a neutral environment, which serves to increase the safety, stability, and success of the 4 points of the family, which are father, mother, child, and the family unit. Law enforcement and community agencies within Catoosa, Chattooga, Walker, and Dade counties are participants in this memorandum of understanding in an effort to support these vital services for our community. The Police Department has reviewed the MOU and will continue to work closely with the Domestic Violence Task Force and support the services provided by 4 Points Incorporated. This agreement establishes the cooperative agreement between the organization, 4 Points, and all participating agencies. There are no additional costs or expenses to the budget with this approval of this MOU, and if approved, it shall be in effect until December 31st, 2022. I would ask for your approval.
Thank you, Chief Sewell. I have a motion to approve.
So moved, sir.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Stennett, second by Mr. Childs. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 5, under new business. Proposed approval to cancel August 9th, 2021 council meeting due to training at the GMA convention. Have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Childs, second by Mr. Crawford. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. August 9th, 2021 regularly scheduled council meeting will be canceled at this time. Next item on the agenda, City Manager's Report. Ms. Hughes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of things. I know I'm sounding like a broken record lately. I just want to remind everybody to please go to FortOglethorpeRSVP.com. We've got our survey open for just a few more days. We would love to hear from everybody in the community, whether you're from here or not, like Councilman Rogers' parents. Please take the survey, FortOglethorpeRSVP.com. We look forward to getting everyone's feedback. And one other thing, in the last couple of weeks, we've had some instances of city staff just going above and beyond to take care of each other, me, and our citizens. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for doing such a good job. Really appreciate it. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. Next item on the agenda is Mayor and Council comments. I do not have anything tonight. Mr. Childs.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Childs. Mr. Crawford.
Yeah, I'd like to just compliment Jeff and his staff, especially this past weekend. I know people driving by the pool, they probably saw a lot of vehicles out there. Had a big swim meet. Well, we liked it so well, I guess we're going to do it again and this next weekend. And we're throwing on the annual Rick Honeycutt World Series. So I know the rec department and the public works department and all of his guys are going to be busy this weekend. So good job on that. And I guess I'd just like to end it by, anybody has a chance and they want a good history lesson, Miss Stennett, I seen a video where they put it on the news today, and it was a good history lesson on James Oglethorpe, and good job on that. And it was taken right there at Barnhart Circle. So
I didn't see it yet.
Oh,
but
Facebook.
That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Mr. Rogers.
thank you.
Thank you. I'd just like to say welcome to my mom and dad, Greg and Chris Rogers. They're here, so everybody say hi to them. But so happy to have them. So happy to have them here. They live in Virginia, and they love to visit our city. Jeff, how many people were here at the swim thing?
I never have got a number. There was supposed to be 900 to 1,300 swimmers. Wow. So we had probably, I would say, 2,000 to 3,000 people on and off Friday and Saturday there at the park. So
There was a good 2,000 over there Saturday when I was over there.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Restaurants were full.
there was 13 teams. This was the city meet. This will be the Georgia State B and C meet. That'll be this Friday and Saturday. There will be 30 teams, which will be numbers, but there should be about the same number of swimmers going along. So
I guess we're going to need to take a look at those parking lots over there.
Yes. we filled them up in fields and wherever we could park.
That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Ms. James.
I don't have anything except welcome to the Rogers family.
Thank you, Ms. James. Ms. Stennett.
Yes, sir. I'd like to do a save the date. October 30th, Saturday, will be the second annual Halloween Spooktacular at Honor Park. We ask that all vendors interested contact me at City Hall using my web address. Also, save the date for Saturday, November 6th will be the first annual Honoring Those Who Serve military parade. It will start at one end of Fort Oglethorpe up around Big Lots and end at the polo field. So again, contact me at Honor Park at the City Hall and let me know if you'd like to participate. That's all, sir. And thank you, Councilman Crawford. I hope you enjoyed the video.
Thank you, Ms. Stennett. Next item on the agenda is executive session. I will entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss real estate.
Motion. Second.
Motion, Mr. Childs, second, Mr. Crawford. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This council is in executive session. Need a motion to come out of executive session.
Motion?
Second.
Motion, Mr. Childs, second by Mr. Crawford. All those in favor say aye.
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 We are out of executive session. In executive session, we discussed real estate. Next item on the agenda is adjournment. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Crawford, second by Mr. Rogers. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.